first half is as good as we can play. Our offensive efficiency and ball movement, our guys' willingness to make the extra pass. Isaiah Zierden plays 6 minutes and has 3 assists and no turnovers, and that's just an example of our team. Guys willing to move the ball and play for their teammates. As proud as I am of what we did on the offensive end, I'm probably equally as proud of our defense. I thought we made Dunham's looks as difficult as possible, and he's going to make some tough ones. It's easy to get frustrated when he does that, and I thought Jahans and Avery in particular, the guys that were on him, did a good job of staying on task and staying focused. And the rest of the guys, they followed their assignments pretty well for a one-day prep. I didn't see this coming. I've got a lot of respect for Butler and the way they played this year. We were exceptional tonight. It was one of those nights where we scored 14 possessions in a row in the first half, and that doesn't happen very often, and it was pretty incredible to be part of.
Questions for the student athletes first. Devin, there's one sequence where you were at about the top of the key and Doug was all alone down by the basket in the first half. And you could have said he was sweeping fast with the one hand down. Can you remember that?
Yeah.
I
mean, I wanted to pass the ball to him the whole time, but I wanted his defender to make it look like I was going to pass it the other way. So I kind of had it in my opposite hand. So I just kind of bounced past it with a curve, and luckily Doug was there to catch it, and he just finished it.
You guys seem to like that one quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great pass.
Great finish as well.
Doug, was it as easy for you to score in the first half as you made it look? It felt like defense did you have a little bit more space?
Yeah, just got it in some spots where I like it on the floor there. And these guys did a great job of recognizing that, and they weren't really coming to double team at all. So just got some good looks early, and that kind of helped my confidence, and hit a couple tough shots. But still they're a great defensive team. I think they showed that a little in the second half, and made it tough for me to get the ball at times. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to describe. We're just clicking on all cylinders, and just everything seems to be perfect out there. And the crowd's into it. We're making shots. We're getting stops. Guys are diving on the floor. Jahens is in the passing lane. Just everything was going right, and I'm really happy for our team, because we could have easily overlooked Butler. Being 0-4 in the conference, and I thought we had a great shoot around today, and kind of just carried over into the game. And I thought we just did a great job of being mature and playing well.
I think we played well, like you said, in the shoot around. We always we all communicated, and we did exactly what Coach wanted us to do.
Devin, where would you say mentally you are from the beginning of the year till now, as far as how you feel comfort-wise on the court?
When I first got here, I was still going through the process of adjustment, and coaches was in my ear, just stay focused and just be yourself. And I think I came a long way. Coaches was riding me, and I appreciate it. And my game, I see a lot of improvement in my game.
Where do you think you need to get? Where's the most improvement still to come?
Defense and making the right decisions. When to pass, when to shoot, and being more of a leader. Talking, telling people where to go, and doing the right things. That's where I can improve at.
Good answer, Dev.
Thanks, Coach. My man.
It's safe to say that you guys are playing at the level you did, especially for that during that run to close the first half. There's not a lot of teams that can say that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can play with anyone, and on the offense end, I don't think there's an issue. We still can get better on the defense end of the floor, and when we're playing like we did in the first half there, I don't think a lot of teams – I think we can play with just about anyone. Butler's played a really tough schedule. you know, they came down to the wire with Villanova, Oklahoma State, and you know, I think we sent a statement tonight. You know, that we're a great team, not just offensively, but on the defense end of the floor as well.
Doug, in the past couple of days, you've asked Jimmy Fredette and Steph Curry on the all-time scoring list, being a guy who's done the majority of your work, you know, quote-unquote mid-major. You know, what's it feel like to be in that company?
It's pretty surreal, you know, just to hear those names and to know that I passed them. You know, but there's a lot of season left, and you know, these guys deserve as much credit as I do. You know, they put me in the right situation. You know, it's just such an unselfish group, and it's pretty incredible. But you know, there's still a lot of season left, so just gonna keep getting better.
Take two more for the student athletes.
Do the gray jerseys help your confidence a little bit?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I like these jerseys. It gives me more swag on the floor and more confidence in my game.
Your last answer was a lot better
Yeah.
than that one.
You know, gotta be honest. But I think it's a new look. You know, makes you feel different.
Yeah, I really like them as well. We've played our best basketball with them.
Yeah.
Against Nebraska, Marquette, and tonight. So keep wearing them.
You guys see Kansas copied your look last night?
Yeah. Those are a little more old school. We need to get some throwback jerseys back to the Harstead days. But, I like these.
Yeah.
One more, please, guys. All right, you guys good to go?
All right.
Taking on a question for Coach Creighton.
Jerseys increase your swag.
I didn't know I had any swag to start with. You know what? They asked for it last spring, and you know, this senior class meant a lot to this program. So we decided to let them go ahead with it, and they've kind of picked when they want to wear them. And obviously, next time we play, we'll wear the pinks when we play at home. But you know, they've earned the right to be a little different once in a while, and they've sacrificed a lot, and they've done a lot for this university and this program.
Coach, as well as things are going for you guys, this team seems behind the right to win. Have you ever been in a situation like that?
Oh, we've all been there. And, you know, and I told Brandon before the game, he's one of the unluckiest guys I've ever witnessed. Just some of the ways that they've lost the games, and it hasn't really been their mistakes. Other teams have made some incredible plays. They've gotten good shots. I watched the Oklahoma State game just 2 nights ago, and I think they had 4 or 5 possessions with a chance to take the lead in the last minute and a half of that game. So they got the stops on the other end, and it's probably just part of the growing process. There's some young guys out there, and with their injury situation, they don't have the depth probably that he would like to have. And you couple that with the fact that they played all these overtime games. I mean, Dunham's minutes per game in conference play is over 40 minutes a game, if I'm not mistaken. And the way he cuts and the way he moves, it's humanly impossible to sustain the type of effort and movement when you're playing that many minutes. So I think Brandon has done an incredible job in kind of a tough situation, and you know, before the season's out, this team's going to win a lot of games.
What's it like for you watching them next year? The game went so perfect. I think they made 14 straight trips and you guys scored.
You know, obviously it's fun. You know, it's all coaching. Don't you know that? But no, it's fun to watch, and fun for me to watch because a lot of that scoring was a result of making a play for your teammate, and that's the way we like to play basketball here. That's the culture we've tried to instill, and our guys have bought into it. You know, when Doug is willing to pass it, when your best player is willing to find a teammate, that's going to be infectious throughout your team. And you know, 19 assists and 4 turnovers that's pretty incredible.
You get 36 points out of your bench. What does it do with your confidence as a head coach in throwing that into the game?
I told the guys in the locker room, Jeff, Will, and Zach went 12 of 15 between them and got, you know, what did we get, 27 points out of that group, something like that. Maybe that's not probably right, but I just thought they demanded the ball down low. I thought Will's activity when he came off the bench was off the charts. Blocked a couple shots coming out of nowhere, and we need some of that. But you know, our bench has been pretty good when you consider that we're a man down without Grant. That everybody's role changed in the blink of an eye, and at least to this point, everybody's answered the bell. Now, we've got to take this show on the road this weekend for a couple difficult games. But I certainly think our bench feels better about themselves. I think Avery Dingman was much more at ease tonight than he was the other night in his first starting assignment. So with each passing game, I think everybody's getting a little more comfortable with their new role, and I think that was obvious tonight. He was tonight, you know, and you know, when they're going to try to help with Doug and they're going to stand next to Ethan and not let him shoot, and you know, Austin got into the paint because the second half they chose not to switch ball screens, and Doug set a couple good screens, Ethan set a couple, and Austin got into the teeth. You know, you got to have guys that'll pay for that, and that creates space, and that's why Devin and Avery and Austin are getting to the rim, because of the respect people have for Doug and Ethan's jaw hands' ability to shoot the basketball. So, you know, guys are making the right read. They're taking what the defense gives them and then make a play out of it. And, you know, we don't they've got a lot of freedom. They know that to go make plays for each other and for themselves. And the first half was as good of example of that as I've seen this season. Well, you know, teams have double-teamed him, and that hasn't worked, you know. So, you know, as long as Doug remains a willing passer like he has been, especially the last 4 or 5 games, where he's had 4 or 5 assists a couple of those games, then now you got to think twice about, do you want to give up a challenge 2 to him, or do you want to give up a rhythm 3 to one of these other guys? And that's what makes our offense difficult to defend. You know, we spread the floor, we space you, and you got a lot of guys that are unselfish. So it makes it fun as a coach for me, because I can be very creative with where we move the pieces around. And obviously it's a challenge for an opposing coach, because most big guys aren't used to being out there defending on the perimeter. But I like the fact that Doug was willing to stay inside early in the game until they made some adjustments. And you know, he made him pay for that single coverage. You know, probably defensively, Piv. You know, I think I said the other day, except for San Diego State, you know, we've played defensively well enough to win just about every game, except for Xavier. We outscored Xavier. The rest of the games defensively, had we had an off night, we were still going to have an opportunity to win, and the George Washington game was an example of that. We weren't ourselves offensively, but our defense at least gave us a chance. So these guys are really paying attention to detail. You can see their communication on the defensive end improving, I think, with every game. And they both mentioned the shoot-around. Our last couple shoot-arounds have been incredible. The communication for a walkthrough is right where it needs to be. And guys are holding each other accountable. They're helping each other with what we need to do in certain situations. And because of that, it allows you to grow as a team defensively. And, you know, a guy like Devin, who's never been in a situation where there's that much responsibility and there's that much onus on you to do the right thing on and off the ball, his teammates have done a great job of having him feel more part of it and helping him along the way. This team's been goofy that way. I've never known. I mean, there's been times where the assistants have come in and said, we're not as sharp in warm-ups as I like, we're not chattering the way I'd like, and we played great. And there's times where they've said they've off the charts focused, and we haven't. So I've just kind of left them alone. There's enough leadership there, enough maturity that I think they've figured out. Once you're in your 3rd and 4th year of college, you figure out what it takes to get you ready to play. It's a little bit different for every guy. And that's what a guy like Devin has to learn, and Isaiah, guys that are going through it the first time, Zach. What do you have to do to get yourself ready to play? And at the same time, making sure what you're doing to get yourself ready doesn't take away from anybody else's preparation. So you can't have a guy running their mouth the whole time if somebody wants to sit down and concentrate. So our guys have got a good feel for it, and as a result, we've gotten off to some really good starts this season. Thank you. Go ahead.
Looking at the situation that Butler's in right now, and Brandon in his first year, kind of probably had a chance to see some of their games. How do you think he's done so far, and how do you assess their growth?
Well, as I looked at it coming into our game, they're 10-6 with an opportunity to win every game they played inside of the last 2 minutes. And as a coach, especially taking over a team for the first time. You want to give your team a chance to win, and they played Oklahoma State when they were at full strength. Their game against LSU, they had a great chance to win, and Villanova I think's one of the top 5 teams in the country, and they had them beat. So I think Brandon's done everything to get his team in a position to win games, and sometimes you just need one thing to go your way, and the thing totally flips. But the reality of it, and I told our team this as we prepared, Butler's 5 or 6 possessions away from having the same record as we have and being ranked in the top 25 in the country. That's how close and that's how fragile this game is sometimes. And Butler's got the right culture, obviously, with that program, and Brandon's going to do a great job before it's all said and done.